What happened to fan art, deviant art, and anime art in general? Why is anime so fucking, like literally fucking filtered, polished, and everything? Anime doesn't exist anymore. If you don't fucking know, everything is just a 3D anime. Fucking anime has been exterminated from the Western culture because of its horrific fucking, up and down relationship with the United States. It started off with Dragon Ball Z not being able to compete with shows like Sex and the City because of really what people are focused on. What people are focused on, going to work, talking to people at work, drinking champagne, going to motels, literally, versus Dragon Ball Z, outer space shit, nerd shit, literally, but kung fu shit. The only thing that's really, that puts people together is the fact that it revolves around martial arts, and how it's portrayed isn't martial arts. All you see is a whole bunch of random punching and kicking, and that can be heavily criticized. So all I see is a whole bunch of random, like, literally cartoon characters pretending to be Bruce Lee. So literally, they used to be able to make fun of this society, so it went from that, but because of the principle is that it's a cartoon, but it's the most entertaining cartoon of all time. But at the time, when you know about, really how dating works, and like really how complexity, how you have to be aware of the situation, how you have to be aware of people, really how this is really can put you in your own little world and stuff, and how you can't afford to be in your own little world in real life. And really, I've dated and I watched Dragon Ball Z. I have to say, dating is way fucking better, because you know why? Because freaking literally Dragon Ball Z let me on. Dragon Ball Z did this for me, and I feel like literally dating is so much more complex. And they think that Naruto is fucking strategy and stuff like that. There's strategy with dating by second nature. Like, have you ever got sleazeballed? Like, have you ever freaking literally got at a girl just because she had a big rack and literally not too much of her personality, but you have to deal with a whole bunch of guys who do have a personality, literally, but their personality doesn't even amount to fucking yours and shit, and they're coming at you this and that. I'm telling you, literally, fucking, there was this one time when you thought it was fucking strategy, like literally fucking like. Literally, you think this is fucking strategy, like fucking they started portraying animes that literally started making war tacticians off of military fucking sequences because Dragon Ball Z apparently wasn't strategic enough. It was too much of a brain dead fucking people charging up for no reason, saying they have diarrhea. You don't understand literally the fucking criticism we got in the West. Also how people reacted to it, literally, and then they don't compare Dragon Ball Z to like their Western woman. Like literally, I'd rather watch fucking really fucking interesting stuff about blowing up a planet versus like woman and her fucking pop culture and her fucking slutty tendencies and shit, and how she doesn't really have a personality for your friend. There were people who call that out in school and fail to realize that is why she's a higher end of society. You complain her for being a sex object when you're forgetting that sex sells itself. Literally, I understand. And then they came out with a show named Naruto where it slowed down what Dragon Ball Z was doing and showed you a little bit more realistic aspect. Like they showed you that literally water can outdo fire and shit like that. Literally, it was a ninja show that literally let you know that literally you have to like really think your way and you can't just really just be like the Wile E. Coyote all the time. But you have to understand. So there was this one scene with this one dude fucking doing this ninja star and he bent his back. This girl was following his movements, and so she bent his back where he bent his back at the same time. She hit her hand on the wall. Literally, it was crazy as shit. And literally, they call that fucking strategy and shit like that. I'm like, people try to label me a predator, and I grabbed the girl's ass at the beginning and shit like that, and I met her the exact same day. And so guess what happened when they kept on trying to report me, saying that I was grabbing everybody's ass? I went back and grabbed the original girl who I grabbed with consent, and literally it was fucking funny. So that all it was, you had this big ass ladder fan, and all it did was go up to the same girl I grabbed earlier. And literally, and you think that that's fucking strategy? No, it's fucking second nature. You don't understand. Once I learned how to play games like Ultimate Ninja Storm, it's how you adapt to something. Because when you do something over and over again, it's very concrete. It's not strategy. Because you people are putting most of your minds into it. That's why it's not smooth. That's why it's not natural. And that's why literally, it's literally everyone else is this natural. I'm like, okay, but literally, she accepted me grabbing her ass before, so let's go back to the girl who accepted me grabbing her ass. It was that fucking easy. And yes, it did go in my fucking mind. Oh, Mr. Frieza, you can't do that to those little kids. No, you don't understand. So what ended up happening is the only reason why it's strategy for you is because you're a brain dead fucking couch potato that's fucking observing everything instead of doing something. Once you understand how he's doing, all he's doing is twisting his fucking fingers around his fucking palm. Literally, all he's doing is really making a circle motion around his palm. I can do a fucking dance that requires the same fucking movement as they were saying on. That's called tut. All he did was tut in his fucking hand. Literally, all this fucking shit. And when you get older, you realize everything about chai and hand signals and shit like that. Literally, there's so much shit that falls into that. Say was funny. Naruto is related to gang territory. And if you don't think so, you're a fucking idiot. How they conquer land, literally, how they speak to each other, literally, is recognition. And street cred runs off recognition. It's Japanese, but it's gangster shit. Do you know why? Because they're fighting over territory. They're fighting over things that are literally revolving around women. Then you don't understand literally their emotion and everything is literally. It's not about it being dramatic. This is pure gangster shit. Do you know why it's gangster shit? Because of literally how much they have to fool, how much they bribe people, how much they literally fucking put the situation in your face, how much they make you consider the situation is gangster shit. You have to understand, literally. You know why? It's because it all revolves around war. And gangsters are really tacticians when it comes to bullshit on the street, but literally fucking the way that gangsters learn is the same way that a military, like, you know, agent learns how to fight. You understand? Literally, they tell you to observe and like literally put two and two together at will. They teach you that when you're a gangster, which is dumb when you don't know a lot about life. But what if you do? Go to literally a fucking uneducated monkey fucking literally doing fucking sound effects, literally trying to fool other monkeys fucking with supposed to effects that are taking advantage of other monkeys haven't caught on yet, into a fucking advanced human being doing this and this and that because you cut out certain crap due to literally understanding that it was a distraction. And the whole thing is literally freaking, it's kind of kept on doing the same thing over and over again to where I know the ins and out of it. So literally, when you put me in a situation where I have to play the same game that I've been playing for years, you back me in the corner and you think I'm doing some anime shit, I'm like, no, that's because I played the game long enough to know what to do at a certain time. And you make me play a game all the fucking time. This mindset is out there because they can fool a little kid, but literally, so what if I told you we created a generation that knew it was easy for me to do that shit, and literally, so then they start literally them being oblivious to say that that's the most amazing anime strategy to a point where they start saying, so when you get in a corner, don't do this and don't do that. It all started from literally us giving nerds what they should have never had. Because when I grew up, I grew up literally watching things like Fairy Tail, fucking Yu Yu Hakusho, literally things that didn't fucking matter because of the society I lived in. I was busy making A and B's, really ignoring fucking movies like 300 and the Avengers. I skipped Iron Man and 300 in order to watch the movie of Sonic 06 and not play a game. That is a gay principle in and out. No, I thought it was a gay principle, and that's why it was corrupt. But literally, it's visual enough to be a fucking show, or a storyline complex enough to be a show, and I can't view it as a show because it's a part of a culture. But what if I don't want to be a part of that culture? So what does that do? That culture attacks you, saying all out or nothing. It's literally how it grew. It grew ever since I was in 7th grade, saying that if you don't go all out, like you are a fucking piece of shit. Like I have to add an old friend named Andre. Andre Lily used to play shit like fucking GameCube and used to criticize me for Lily. So you know a lot about Naruto, but you don't know shit about Mario. Like fucking, you know everything that has to do with this fucking Japanese cartoons and fucking Lily with fangirls and shit, but you know nothing about actual origins. I don't see you playing fucking Sonic. I don't see you knowing like Lily. I don't see you playing anything multi-dimensional outside because what you forget is those games revolve around mainstream shit. And Lily fucking, and then they can call me even more gay. So you picked the only Sonic game where it revolves around a character that looks like an anime character with a fucking anime storyline where it's originally just somebody fucking a douchebag going through rings and literally acting shit running away from a girl being a badass. It was a very toxic and effective community to the point where they started dissing Shadow the Hedgehog, saying that Shadow was just an emo kid, that Shadow didn't need to be there, that it was a fucking poor addition to the fucking series because it is a complete difference. Because I know how things work. Literally, what they did was they fucking add fucking Sonic and they fucking turn him into a Ghost Rider and fucking Lily, an emo Ghost Rider. Yes, I do know how to critique anime too, but what do you do not need? It gets so sick to a point where you see that Shadow was meaningless, that literally we never needed Shadow. Like, yeah, we could have lived without him, but that's because we could have lived without him doesn't mean he shouldn't be there at all. And this is like really the toxic family. So we start like really, we start expressing our opinions online. Like really, we start accepting the fact that we could like really see them in the show. Like really, they weren't our imaginary friends, but we were doing shit with the media. So what would happen if we watch something that literally gives us epilepsy, really enough to the point where the Pokemon episode had to be taken off the air to a point where we're making things called YouTube poops, and you don't know what YouTube poops are. They're fucking random fucking clips of you making fun of something, and it doesn't need to make sense, and gives them their ultimate nerd, but they has comedy here and there. Like I started making shit like that. Like they say random shit like they cut out what they originally say and make them say a cuss word. They make SpongeBob cuss their shell and they fucking make them do hella different shit. Like they make SpongeBob smoke weed and shit. It's fucking crazy shit. But you know what? It started off being him miss. They didn't only make it funny here and there. Out of the rest, there would be some stupid shit like they would speed up the clip and then slow it down. I'm like, how is that funny? But when you're a fucking grown-ass man in a situation, that is hella fucking funny. Like, literally, somebody would be falling off a cliff. Not only would they reverse it, but they would speed it up and slow it down. Like, oh, then they reversed it. It would be so fucking funny, but they would only do it here and there. And the majority of the time, it'd be random. And since it's free and since everybody can do it, it make everybody feel entitled to do their own thing. I'm gonna ignore family dinner. I'm gonna go work in my anime video. That used to be me. I'm gonna ignore the movie. I'm gonna ignore what everybody else is doing and doing my thing. But what if I told you that was actually the most healthy thing at the time because 300 was corrupting people. 300 fucking was their equivalent to fucking rape and shit. They didn't didn't want to admit at the time, like this and that, Lily. But one thing is that 300 is historical and it backs it up, and Lily, it's something outside your comfort zone. But now if you're a thug, now if you make nothing into something all the time, that means you can't adapt to it. But what if you recognize this is crap? All I see these guys are yelling at each other and fucking spilling blood everywhere. I don't see anything complex in the dating world. Like in 300, all that shit is like literally Iron Man, all that shit is petty compared to dating. You're analyzing situation on top of situation on top of situation. So you know what algorithm is, right? Literally, anime only has limited algorithm. When you date a girl, you're forced to fucking multiple animes for fucking one fucking girl and shit, because a girl is gonna take you through ups and downs. A girl isn't gonna sit still like you in a fucking anime. A girl isn't controlled like the episodes you watch. Like literally, you can't just go back to a girl like an episode, listen, fucking rewatch it wherever you fucking didn't know she's gonna want to do something different. And when that different, because of different timeline, you may not be able to put it in the words, but you'll be able to share a better experience. You can put anything in the words because all you do is stay at the computer all day, but you do anything but deal with the experience. So what ended up happening is we started creating shippies like Naohina, Sasasaku. They started making male characters make out and say, it's okay, it's just my opinion. And then you know what happened? We were so mature that we created an entire community about it called Yaoi. Yaoi is like gay anime porn, and that's why it was advertised in South Park, because of the struggle I had in school. The struggle I had in school, like literally, fucking, like, you know that one rumor where fucking Creepy Creek literally turned out to be fucking gay shit? That was based on me being obsessed with anime in school. So anyway, fucking literally, fucking what they were doing is they were addressing the culture, and South Park made it look so mature. Like it is mature because what they were complaining about, they don't want to be a part of a community that don't want to do whatever you want. Like I understand this is fan made, so it went from literally you being fan made to other people like literally fucking throwing their fucking laptop because they lost their fucking video game. Fucking, you're the only one that corroborates in society. So if you're the only nerd that's corroborating in society, and you eventually have to get a wife, what resolve are you gonna go to? You're not gonna have a resolve. You gotta start blaming society, but you're too smart to go to the dark internet. The dark internet are people who really fucking think that the world is stupid, thinking that girls aren't worth getting because they're always gonna cry rape, because they're immature, they're not worth it, they're not intellectually stimulating enough, when they don't even work it themselves. Literally, they blame society. Literally, all you have to do is do what you're told and observe what's around you. And literally, oh yeah, this, that, oh yeah, well that's because you ate the fast food joint when you were fucking too young. Yeah, cell phone at a fucking young age. Fucking, you saw other people be a child. That's because he's smacking, doesn't mean you're not smacking. You should be reading a book. Literally, so you expect me to read boring ass books? I'm like, okay, well if you don't want to read books, then do everything that the gangster does to get that girl. It's like, oh, okay, I know what's happening. So what happens is they're smart enough, and then they end up to a place called Camp Sweeney. Camp Sweeney is what divided the anime community as a whole. Because what they was, there are people who are watching Dragon Ball Z who actually understood what it was all about, and then they saw a girl in school and they would actually speak their mind, but because they were smarter than next girl, instead of getting roasted by the school, they got roasted by a girl. They got kicked out of school because they took the proper girl out of his position. So what they had a nerd who thinks like a fucking gang member who became physically fit because he dealt with the discipline for having an understanding of his parents. So he's like, what's the whole point of having discipline when I tell him the truth? They end up in Camp Sweeney. So he ends up really fighting everybody in fucking Camp Sweeney because he calls out the fucking girl. Like Camp Sweeney is a juvenile camp, a boot camp for juvenile delinquents and shit. And then he ends up fucking killing people over because everybody put him in that position because nobody accepted the fact that a popular girl was wrong. And so that's what started the Dragon Ball community, and that's why the Dragon Ball community and the anime community are separate, because these are people who are sick in their fucking head, like fucking, you know, fucking Clint Eastwood's and fucking shit, like literally fucking little young Clint Eastwood's literally fucking playing you know versus I know how to cheat and fucking literally fucking stabbing people with fucking forks in the fucking lunch table, literally, wow, fucking literally, you're laughing at somebody, fucking, I know laughing stock media had to have fucking like literally been Cap Sweeney Cap because he knows too much about hip hop. Literally, there are people who are knowledgeable about this world but don't choose to participate in it, so they find their own ways to live in their dark internet. So I don't believe in that philosophy, but I'm okay with those people because I'm a man who takes literally little pieces of the situation and creates my own philosophy in life. Like I don't want to go to the dark internet, this and that. I already learned how to fight, but what if I told you that put me in a bad position when everybody else is going all out on nothing and what they want to do, and people are literally, I figure out the only people who can be flexible like me have to be hidden from the public and no fair stereotype to stay the same. What happens to me when I want things like then, like yo, I want to smoke weed in this redhead's backyard, they really fucking expect not to get criminal activity. Like I want to buy weed from a gangster but not get into literally gangster shit. Literally, I want to do this, and I want to take my piece out of the situation. You know what's gonna start happening? I'm gonna start developing traits on the other side, and eventually you're gonna tell me to choose one. It's either you're street smart or book smart, but then there's a third option: either go to the dark internet and accept the fact that I'm a madman and blame society. They got their way because they didn't believe in fan art. They didn't believe in all that lovey-dovey shit. They believed the white internet was poison. You didn't really give these kids hope, but then they came out with Naruto, and they started laughing at Naruto and stuck within the Dragon Ball community, and we're all like, literally, fuck this and that. Those kids are corrupted, and we're actually doing the struggles. They're actually willing to watch what you weren't, and they're not getting shit out of society. You figured out how to learn your own, because instead of you actually outsmarting everybody in the mental hospital, you just took the fucking door. You AWOL, you fucking were able to live, and then fucking literally, you leave everybody who has to deal with this society in fucking distress. You get to spread your fucking opinion about anime. Oh, I feel like Tapion could take out PyCon. You get to say fucking conversations that aren't based off reverse psychology like popular kids, but you keep it aside, but you realize you have to become a superhuman and get in a whole bunch of trouble to do so. So really, in order to really speak your fucking mind and be an anime fan, you have to go to Camp Sweeney. You have to be a juvenile in order for you to speak your fucking Lily. You're free. In order for you to speak your opinion of anime correctly, you have to go to jail. You have to really learn what this world's about. You have to A1. You have to join a gang. If you want to speak your mind around literally fucking like anime without getting into a fucking ridiculous reverse psychology debate, are you serious? That's how this whole shit started. You get to enjoy yourself knowing that you're a bad man and blame society, but we don't get to fucking relieve ourselves, or we get attacked for fucking doing shit that's not within the show. Literally, this isn't the right attention. And literally, so guess what ended up happening? They started supporting shit that only is about literally getting results instead of seeing your own little world. Literally, they can't speak your opinion now. You can't post your own AMV or your own song anymore. Literally, and they blame copyright. It's like, but we understood that, mate. We took away the understanding and made it critical in society. So all those people who made those fast shippings died, and there are only a few of them are left. And that's why Deviant art just looks like a bad site now, because nobody's on it anymore, because everybody died out, because everybody kept on saying believe it instead of working out, and the people who did work out literally didn't get disciplined. So we're gonna let monkeys be monkeys in the fucking wild when we can't adapt to society. So it got down to a time when I came along. My name is Bootrix. I'm kind of like a superhero, but not really. I'm kind of forced to be a superhero because nobody let me get laid when I was young. So anyway. What ended up happening is I realized that the world wasn't all that, like literally like the dark internet, but I kept it inside because what happened is they started to make the community only for fucking pricks, only for literal people. Like, unless you want to literally go into the actual fucking evidence of what it's compared to in real life, like Optimus Prime is made of over sextillion tons. You know what sextillion is? It's the way of this earth. Sextillion, literally. So literally, and fucking, I started to get into debates of literally fucking, can Robin beat one of the Ninja Turtles? And they say yes, Robin can only beat the Ninja Turtles and only prep them. I'm like, what? Robin has to have a gadget, this and that. And then I realized that the Ninja Turtle skin are made out of. What lore was looking at it in a more realistic way and setting your anime. So I kind of tell anime fans today that don't know how to use lore properly, something I learned from my boy Savo. I'm like, how do you start off with lore if you know so much about it? I'm like, I'll give you a hint. Armor. He's like, what does lore have to do with armor? I'm like, okay, well, if you know anything about lore, it starts off as, what is the armor made of? To think a knife is just a knife. Who cares about shit like that? I'm watching fairy. I'm watching big ass titties on my face. Literally, fuck that. A knife is just a knife. But literally, what if I told you, knowing that knight used to be a big historical figure, that knight did what other knights couldn't? It's like literally how you understand how literally be a higher tier in the community and shit. So literally, I started doing shit like that over time after I got exhausted in making AMVs and not getting profit off it. Literally, I started listening to people talking about. So how I was introduced to lore was Geekdom 101, because Geekdom started to compare Dragon Ball like to a real fight, like how literally how Goku versus Frieza was so fast and dynamic. How can this be 5 minutes? Because it was 5 minutes on TV. We already know like it's a cartoon, but he actually went to the physical evidence of why it was 5 minutes, because Dragon Ball characters move at light speed. So he said it was really under 3 minutes and stuff like that, but Goku literally hit Frieza in his gut. And you know what happens when you hit somebody in his gut? They lose breath. So Frieza was losing his breath, and literally Goku's super speed finally got to a spaceship in time. Really crazy. So Geekdom started explaining at that, and I got more into fucking Dragon Ball and lore as a whole. It made me look at situations more realistically, and I became a better version of an anime fan. So I still kept the shipping, and I still really did my fan art, but I kept it inside because I knew it wasn't gonna get benefit. So guess what happened to everybody else didn't keep it inside? We're actually trying to like literally not benefit from it, but try to keep their own little world ahead and adapt to society. And it ended up doing chores they didn't want to do, and they ended up really fucking being 30-year-old fucking versions for full perspective, literally. And I talked to one of them today. He's pretty fucking cool. He likes my manga nons. He literally tried to stop his little brother from complaining and literally saying that it was fucking too this and that, dog, just to get what it was. So what ended up happening was they started literally making animes that was boring on purpose in order to teach you a principle. Because what ended up happening is everybody criticized me. Why you like all this fucking cute cuddly cartoons and don't get serious about any fucking thing? Maybe literally 300 could be fucking historical. Maybe if you watch Harry Potter, maybe do this and that. Maybe if you expand your mind, like this and that's literally. What if I told you like literally that all comes with discipline and being forced to be in a situation? You can't force me to be appreciative of fucking history when I can eat pork chops when I want. I came across a guy named William, aka Solid Dude, and he said the real reason why, like other games, like literally help him talk shit to me in certain situations, because I have style and he has like literally fucking, you know, concrete, you know, fucking like experience where it comes to handling criticism, literally where it comes to like handling like literally situations. It made him in a more calm, cool, collect state. So when we're talking shit and I'm trying to like literally get serious for fucking shit and I lose my fucking control, it can help you be calm for a little bit. You're still gonna be just as scary as me, but it's gonna give you something more to think about. You know why? Because I put you in an ambient state of mind while I also made you move. You get what I'm saying? So I gave you the Legend of Zelda. I gave you a game that was equivalent to reading a book, so you wouldn't have to read a book. So somebody else who gets criticized for reading a book literally gets shunned by you, but he gets the girl because he paid attention to what was exciting. They felt like they could play this whole maturity. They started like Lily making animes like Lily that had no action, that was heavy on plot and no future analyzing situation. When they realized that Lily, that are we really living in a day where they make excuses for us? So Lily, it went from the anime community having Deviant art to the Prince community because of this. Happened is we went from a community that was literally understanding that we can't literally view anime the same way, but we have to make sure that we view it in a way like fit in society, because literally we ended up literally having knowledge of what happens to a gangster and all gangsters end up in jail, and gangsters really don't get the girls, but they get the girls now and this and that. But literally they understood what it takes to be men too, so like literally they stuck with their hobbies. So literally they made anime fans like literally we're gonna make you stay inside on purpose in order literally to make you think that you're protected from the outside world. But then literally what was happening, it was also like side by side the dark internet, because the dark internet is connected to gangs. What people do is they watch anime like me, but they make sure that they're tied to a gang, so nobody fucking criticizes the society. Oh, I'm okay, I'll need girls, I'll need this and that. But my buddies are always there. We're hacking programs, like literally we're using guns like literally to fucking protect territory. We're doing this and that. But at the same time, so those people fucking exist. So that's what happens when a nerd literally not a nerd, but just a normal person that wants to live a normal life and get our girl a normal way, a nonchalant way, instead of being overly dramatic, because he learns from his mistakes and trying too hard to be a gangster, trying too hard to be like an anime fan and hold on to himself. So when it comes to when you're done fucking trying to fight people to get girls and you finally just want to take a girl for a walk in the park, guess what ends up happening? The gangster who you can finally be in the fucking fight hooks up for a girl from the dark internet saying this and this and this about this person, and guess what's in it for the guy in the dark internet? Literally fucking social interacts and gives them a role, gives them something to do with something that gives them perspective and shit. And I realized this, and I kind of experienced this in junior high. Literally, there was this guy named Justin and Andre who used to do everything that I learned about war gangs, final sequences. What they did was they put me in a fucking trance like, yo, this is us, this is our own shit, and this is why, like, literally, you're forever gonna be jealous, and this is why you don't get girls in school. And that all happened when I was transitioning into high school. Where I got into high school, none of what they said became true, but it was only true because they thrown their own fucking shit, and they literally provided their own world with enough bullshit. I have a skateboard video game, I ride skateboard in real life, I do nothing but listen to rock, and fucking I drink carbonated soda, and I act like I'm the fucking shit, and literally this and that. So you're saying that you fucking made the inside interesting just to fool me so I wouldn't get a girl. It's basically what happened. I realized that gangsters work the same way. They just don't use white boy examples, because literally I learned that literally after dealing with them that this is a grown fucking version. So the dark end is a basically grown version of fucking Justin. They're saying fucking literally jokes you don't see on TV, but they're fucking, I'm not new to this shit because I was introduced to it in junior high. So like literally fucking literally these are dark end, these are fucking anime fans who work out or don't work out past the limits, and they certainly don't have the revelation I've had. If you go watch like, you know, Dark Game, like the audiobook, you understand I went through a revelation where literally I have to literally can't be a little kid anymore. So what ended up happening is this: there is no more anime in America. Because what ended up happening is I went to a Japanese anime convention and I ended up grabbing girls' ass on top of ass on top of ass, like the shit that you learn how to do in the parties. You know, like literally when you fucking literally when you look at a girl and you're wondering if you should kiss her and stuff like that, and instead of, you know, asking like how your mom taught you, you have to go against your mom's words, because if you don't go with the fucking vibes and fucking go away, is exactly what I did. So you end up kissing her instead of asking her. I pulled over 300 girls that were in cosplay doing that. So it came down to a point where are you a good anime fan or a bad anime fan? Because I put it in a way to let you know it's not your business, this is my girl, not yours. I'm black and I'm hot and I fit the stereotype of why I can do it, but you can tell by the way I'm wearing my clothes and the fact that I'm interacting with everybody, the fact that I'm saying like really banzai, this and that, really the fact that I'm saying Japanese words in fucking public, being a full on, you know, being a nerd, you can tell I'm a nerd, you can tell that you know the whole fucking picture. So when I give you a picture's worth 1,000 words, literally what I get away is grabbing a hot piece of ass in front of you you, and you recognize it's because I'm hot. And literally, it's either gonna do two things. It's either gonna complain to mommy, fucking joining gang, say, what's the whole point of you fucking learning how to fit in society where he can just grab a girl like this and that, literally knowing that well that it requires skill, knowing that well that everything, literally. So it's either gonna go all out and like if you're already a nerd, if you're already playing fighting games 100%, it wouldn't fucking matter. Literally, this and that. If you're already fucking going out and playing Yu-Gi-Oh, it wouldn't fucking matter. If you're a fucking all world, so it's either you're a nerd or a smart guy. I separated right there because what I did was I did something that literally goes against the rate of race, but I did in a way that makes sense to where you're point that you're mature enough to know the full situation. He said though, literally, fucking, you know why, fucking, you saw Chip Skylark grab fucking Icky Vicky, but there's nothing more to be discussed. So guess what ends up happening? They start trying to label me a predator and stuff. So he found label me a predator, and literally what ended up happening is I sleazeballed this girl who was kind of fat with some really nice tits. So literally what ended up happening was this. literally I sleazeballed her and I had to deal with a gang, and literally it was insane because what ended up happening is literally that girl was a girl that I made at an anime convention. Now I was famous for grabbing ass, and now they're trying to say that I can't get girls simply. I'm like, literally, you should not be able to have them. Only gang members have that retarded perspective and shit. Literally. And then they had the same perspective, so they try to get the dark and the gangsters literally to create a war against me, and I beat both of them because literally they're both relying on something. They're both relying on the computer. He was relying on the gun, and I beat them. Like everything that doesn't have to do with the computer, what actually experience, and everything that doesn't have to rely to controlling the situation or actually accepting the situation is the things I learned over time. And literally, so what ended up happening is they had this whole misconception that fucking anime was literally for popular kids because I was able to pull bitches, right? I was able to pull bitches at conventions. So like literally what ended up happening is I would get home and people were like, man, I love this shit. These girls are hot. Like literally, where do you find this shit? And they're like, what? Improvise this, that. What's with all this weird shit? I want to see her hot girls in fucking costume and shit. Literally, and sorry, but literally, that's how humans are. Nobody wanted to believe that, but dude, with that much complexity, like, no, this is what we're focused on. I see a human body. I recognize what the human body is wearing because I am a part of fashion and a part of mainstream. I am not gonna care unless it's something that pertains to me. Like if you're not wearing an A shirt, I don't care. If you're not wearing Nike, I don't care. If you're not doing something that symbolizes something in society, I don't care. But if you're wearing a fucking shirt where fucking, you know, a smiley face on it, I might as well consider you a nerd, and that's okay. But literally, that's how people think. Literally, they don't give a fuck about your anime because it has nothing to do with them, but that's also because people don't understand. Literally, people don't care about something until you get them involved. You have to like literally make it reasonable in order for them to get involved. Literally, and they call themselves or no, that's how humans work because of our attention span. It's not about us being full of shit, it's literally how we're actually, you know, genetically made. Everybody thought they were this hot shit and thought that anime was all about dating now, and now I got to the fucking sleazeball and shit, and so what ended up happening is everybody defending this girl like literally with big tits over fucking really saying that literally he can't get girls or his personality literally over and over and over again, like literally saying literally, and they failed every single time, like no, analyze the situation. Then they brought gangs in, and then we do little gangs because we know what gangsters will really do. So we call gangsters weenies for not being able to get girls because literally they're not able to meet the standards of mainstream rappers and shit. So literally they're not actually really a gangster 100%. And then when it came down to it, they thought that they had hope to hold on to that angle that they could just call me a school jock, say I didn't go to college, say I dropped out, say I wasn't a normal member of society, saying this cartoon is a ban my existence. It's the exact same reason why you grew up with fucking Lily cartoons, is why you think fucking Lily girls and likes, and why life is cruel this, life is cruel that. Adapt to rate cartoons are the whole reason why you held back, and that's the whole reason Lily why you fucking lost, because you didn't take the fucking lesson that they taught because you just called her a cartoon and nothing else. And it was not fucking cool because what ended up happening was this. Literally, they tried to finish, so anime's about dating again, so anime's about leasing again, that's what ended up happening is they had misinterpretation. Then they came out with like My Hero Academia, a show that's literally an anime that's revolves around like people in America. So what we have to understand is literally, My Hero Academia is basically to let you know that America is full of shit because literally we're gonna put this guy in Shoujo Rugby with half red and half white hair, and you're gonna think that fucking the reason why anime is mainstream now is because of the structure and how it's employed in society and what people go through. But no, he's the fucking main focus. All you care about is his hair. All you care, his hair fucking drives the series. His hair is fucking what makes people involved. His hair is what made more than one person want to watch anime. And literally, I used to be him. I wore his wig for a convention one time. I ended up grabbing ass and stuff like that. And they thought that this was a whole revelation. Like anime was basically like anime was about everything. Now guess what happened lately? I had a YouTube channel that blew up. And I started referencing how things were back in the day. How I used to be able to like really watch fan shipping, but it used to do not shit for me. Like, yo, Sasuke and Tenten make a good couple. I know, but I heard from Lily the fact that he could copy a jutsu, the fact that he could summon him, ninja troll, this and that. We would get kicked out of this country for having conversations like that. Especially Lily, how much people were addicted to me and stuff like that. So everybody started laughing. And so Lily, what ended up happening is everything went back to square one. And Lily, and now I stand like Lily, we just gave you hope because Lily, forget this was never supposed to revolve around this shit, Lily. After I broke up with the girl, anime was back to normal, and everybody really watched anime since. You know what they try to do? They try to blame me. Like, if it wasn't for you, we would have held on to our precious cringe. If it wasn't for you, we would have really been able to get away with anything because there was no such thing as the future. Lily, just that because Lily, we're born to be losers for life. We're anime fans, Lily. Once a loser, always a loser. This that. Like, we were born this and that because Lily, what happens to people who aren't a loser who watch anime? They end up to a dark end that you're the only reason why we have the impossible in between. It's not that, no, you're just a spoiled brat to Lily. Lily took advantage of the fact that you got easy entry fee and Lily made it harder for other people like me to be down to earth.